Okay, math lesson 9.4. Okay, it's about line graphs. Okay, so this lesson is similar to the lesson that we did yesterday. The only difference is that we are going to connect after plotting our points using an order pair. We're going to connect them with lines. That's why. Okay, when after connecting the points that we plotted in the coordinate grid with a line, we are going to create a line graph. Okay, so let's go ahead and start reading here. A line graph is a graph that uses line segments to show how data changes over time. The series of numbers placed at fixed distances that label the graph are the graph's scale. The intervals or difference between the values on the scale should be equal. Okay, so besides creating a line graph with line segments that connect each point that we are going to plot in our coordinate grid, we also need to come up with the scale, and we also need to come up with an interval. And think of this word as the same as a pattern. Okay, intervals are the patterns that sometimes numbers follow. If the pattern goes up by twos, if it goes up by ones, if the pattern goes up by tens or by 20s or by 50s or so on. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the lesson. Make sure that you have your Go Math book with you. Okay, find lesson 9.4, which is page 381. Okay, be sure or make sure that you have your book with you so that you can start recording the information that I am going to write on the screen. Okay, you are going to write it in your book, of course. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and unlock this problem. Graph the data, use the graph to determine the times between in which the greatest temperature change occurred. Okay, so recorded temperatures is the title of the table that we're going to use to create our order pairs. Okay, this will be our x-axis and temperature will be our y-axis. Okay, so that means that the time would be what we are going to write as our first number in our order pair, and the temperature would be the second number that we're going to write in an order pair. Okay, so the first one's already done for us. 1 a.m. Temperature was at 51 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, the next hour would be 2, so I'm going to write it here. 2 o'clock in the morning. What was the temperature? 49. Okay, 49 degrees. So that would be the number for our y-axis. Okay, now at 3 o'clock in the morning, our temperature was 47 degrees. Okay, same thing for the next hour, which is 4 o'clock. The temperature at 4 o'clock in the morning was 44. Okay. Then at 5 o'clock in the morning, the temperature was 45. Okay. Same thing with 6 o'clock in the morning. At 6 o'clock in the morning, the temperature was 44. And the last one, which is 7 o'clock in the morning, the temperature was 46. Okay, now that I completed my order pairs, we move on to step number 1. So let's go ahead and read what step number 1 says. For the vertical axis, the vertical axis is the axis that goes, to the top, started at the origin. Choose a scale and an interval that are appropriate for the data. You can show a break in the scale between 0 and 40, since there are no temperatures between 0 Fahrenheit and 44. Okay, so that means that we need to look at these numbers right here. Okay, and then we have to look at which number is the smaller number. So the smaller number is 44. So we can start our numbers at 40. Well, 0 is the origin. Of course, you will always need to include the 0 as your origin. Okay, but you can jump all the way to 40 since 44 is the smallest number. Okay, so that's why this scale started at 0 and then it jumped all the way to 40. Okay, and then look at how these numbers are changing. So 44, 45, 46, 47, 49, 51. Okay, so you can use an interval of 2. That means that the pattern that you can use to come up with these numbers, you can move these numbers up by 2. So that's why, okay, this scale has an interval of 2: 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, and 54. Okay, and of course the numbers that you want right here on the x-axis are the hours. Okay, the time. So these numbers will stay the same. You don't need to find the scale, you don't need to find an interval, okay, to write these numbers. All right. Step number 2, for the horizontal axis, write the times of day. So it's already there. Write a title for the graph and name each axis. So the title for the graph is recorded temperatures. The title was taken from the title in this table. Okay, temperature in Fahrenheit is the same title for this line, and the time in the morning is the same word that was written right here. Okay, and then it says, then graph the order pairs, complete the graph by connecting the points with line segments. So the first 3 points are already plotted for us. Okay, so 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, let's go ahead and look at and see what the temperature was at 4 o'clock in the morning. So to plot a point for this order pair, I'm going to move my pencil to where it's 4. It says 4 o'clock, and then I'm going to move it up to find 44. Okay, so 44 would be right here. So I'm going to plot a point right there, and then I am going to connect it using a line segment. All right. Then the same thing for 5 o'clock in the morning and 45. So I'm going to find my pencil. With my pencil, I'm going to put it where it's 5 o'clock. It says 5 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm going to go where it's 45. Okay, I don't see a 45 here, but I already know that 45 is between 44 and 46. So my point would be in the middle of these 2 lines right here. So I'm going to put my point right there, and then I'm going to use a line segment, and I'm going to connect it. Okay, then I'm going to see what the temperature was for 6 o'clock in the morning. It was 44. So with my pencil, I'm going to put it where it says 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm going to bring it up to where it says 44. So this line represents 44 as a temperature, and then I'm going to use a line segment to connect it. Okay, then the last one would be 7 o'clock in the morning, and the temperature was 46. So I'm going to move my pencil to 7 o'clock in the morning, and then move it up to where the line means 46. So this line right here means 46 as a temperature. I'm going to plot my point and then connect it with a line segment, and there you have, okay, a line graph. A line graph is used to show the difference, okay? The difference, all right? The data, how the data changes over time, okay? That is why we use a line graph for, all right? Okay, now look at each line segment in the graph. Find the line segment that shows the greatest change in temperature between 2 consecutive points. The greatest temperature change occurred between and. Okay, so where is the greatest change in this line segment? Between which hours do you see that the line went down further? Okay, so if you look at this, between here and here, the temperature did not change that much. Okay, And between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning, the temperature didn't change that much. But look at 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. It went kind of, okay, it changed from 40, what would it be, 45 down to 44, correct? Okay, so this line segment shows, okay, the greatest temperature change. Okay, so I'm going to write, okay, that the greatest temperature change happened between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. Okay, between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. Okay, another way you can find the greatest temperature change is by comparing the numbers right here. Okay, so if we compare 3 a.m. and 4 a.m., we can find a difference, okay, 47 and 44. So if there's a difference of 3 digits, okay, or a difference of 3, right? 51 and 49, there's only a difference of 2. 49 and 47, there's only a difference of 2. 47 and 44, there's a difference of 3. Okay, and then 45 and 44, there's only a difference of 1. Okay, and 44 and 46, there's only a difference of 2. So the greatest difference is the one that we want to use, okay, to find, okay, the greatest temperature change. That is another way you can do this, okay? But the easiest way is to see which line segment goes down, okay? It shows the greatest change, okay? Which line segment is like longer, all right, when you are using it to create a line graph. Okay, so this is page 381. I'm going to record the page 382 on another